I've tried bullet journaling. I've tried a $200 planner I use obsessively for exactly 2 months. I've tried an app that yelled at me. None of it worked. Turns out most of it was never supposed to. Okay, so last episode we talked meds. Today we're doing the other half of that conversation. The bit where well-meaning people go, have you tried yoga? And you want to throw your phone into the sea. Here's the thing though, some of that well-meaning stuff actually works. Not all of it. Some of it is expensive nonsense dressed up in soft lighting and a Canva template. But some of it has real evidence behind it, the kind with control groups and everything. Anyway, this is Anyway, I Have ADHD, a podcast for people whose brains work on different operating systems and nobody gave them the manual. I'm Han, late diagnosed ADHD, mum of 2, founder of NeuroSpice Nation, and still slightly confused by the fact that nobody noticed for 31 years. Not one person. It's almost like they've never met me. Every week we pick apart a different corner of ADHD life. The stuff that's funny now, but wasn't at the time. The stuff that's still not funny, and the stuff that's actually useful. No shame, no hustle, no wellness bro energy. Just chaos, but warm chaos. With takeaways and hopefully you feeling slightly less alone. Or crazy. So today I'm doing the sorting. What's actually backed by research? What's promising but not proven yet? And what's just vibes? Because you deserve to spend your very limited energy on stuff that's worth it. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, confession. My non-medication era was basically a graveyard of productivity systems. Does anyone remember Filofaxes? Deeply uncool, but so many expansion packs to customize it with. Hello, dopamine. I went hard into my Filofax era, spent hundreds of dollars kitting it out, was genuinely consistent with it for about 2 months. Then reality caught up. We live in the digital age, so I was duplicating everything. Writing events and tasks and contacts into my swanky Filofax, then adding them all again into my phone and computer, because apparently that's efficient. Plus the size of the thing. Not chic. Did not fit in a single purse I owned. It's still sitting in a box in my house wrapped in tissue paper. I know I'll never use it again. I still can't throw it away. I've bullet journaled. At the beginning of every year, obviously. Happy New Year. New me, new year, new bullet journal. It just never looked like the spreads on Pinterest. I've color-coded, I've bought the planner that's promised it would fix my brain if I just used it consistently. Which, if you have ADHD, you already know is the whole problem right there. I'd be incredible at a system for 4 days and then it would just stop. Not because I decided to stop. Life got in the way of the perfect planning, and the system fell out of my brain overnight, in favor of actually getting the tasks done instead of organizing them. For years, I thought that meant I was the problem. Like everyone else could pick a planner and use it forever, and I was the one who couldn't stick the landing. Turns out, not true. There's actually research on this specific thing, and it's kind of a relief. Studies on organizational skills in ADHD adults have found that we don't necessarily lack the strategies. We attempt heaps of them. What we struggle with is the persistence with any given strategy over time, not knowledge of what to do. So it was never I don't know how to prioritize. It was the system needed a kind of consistency my brain doesn't produce on demand. There's also a term for part of what's happening, procrastivity. Being genuinely busy, genuinely doing things, just not the important thing. Reorganizing my sock drawer by color and style instead of sitting down and doing my overdue tax return. Deeply satisfying but extremely unhelpful. A lot of that comes down to traditional productivity systems just not being built for us. Things like getting things done, or rigid daily planners assume steady attention, reliable time awareness, and a working memory that'll hold onto review your list as a habit. When you've got time blindness and inconsistent working memory, that structure doesn't gently support you. It quietly collapses, and then you feel like a failure for something that was never going to hold your weight in the first place. That's actually part of why I started my own app, not another one that assumes you'll just be consistent. Something designed around how ADHD brains actually prioritize and lose track of time, instead of fighting against it. Still very much in progress, but I'll keep you all posted as it comes together. Anyway, on to what the research says actually helps with prioritization and getting stuff done, beyond just get a better planner. All right, let's sort the pile. 5 things, from most proven to jury's still out. Top of the list is CBT, actual evidence, actual control groups, actual this measurably helps data from research this year. Quick spell out for anyone new to this, CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy. It's talk therapy, but the structure kind. You're identifying unhelpful thought patterns and behaviors and actively building new ones, with homework in between sessions. Not, how does that make you feel? More, here's a system for the thing that keeps tripping you up. But And this matters. I don't mean lying on a couch talking about your childhood for 6 months. ADHD-specific CBT is skills-based. It's structured. It's someone helping you build actual systems for the actual problems, not just processing feelings about the problems. Who you'd actually see is a clinical psychologist or registered psychologist with CBT training, ideally one who specifically worked with ADHD clients before, not just a general mental health. Some mental health and social workers and accredited counsellors also deliver CBT. The qualification to ask about is CBT training itself, not just the job title. Here in Australia, this is where the mental health care plan from your GP comes in. It gets you subsidised sessions through Medicare, so it's not a fully out-of-the-pocket thing. The catch is finding someone who actually knows ADHD, not just someone who'll nod along while you describe executive function like it's a personality flaw. Ask specifically if they've worked with ADHD clients before you book in. Number 2 is exercise. I know. Before you throw something at me, this isn't a go to the gym 3 times a week and become a different person. The research that actually holds up is short bursts, especially cardio, especially right before you need to focus. Think 10 minutes of movement before the hard task, not an hour-long gym session you'll dread and then avoid entirely. Even a single bout of exercise showed a real effect on focus and impulse control in the research. It's a pre-task tool, not a lifestyle overhaul. This one's mostly self-directed, but if you want actual structured support, an accredited exercise physiologist can build something specifically for you. And some are genuinely experienced with ADHD and executive dysfunction, not just sports injuries. If exercise makes your brain shut down because it sounds like a chore, reframe it as, make my brain faster for the next hour. Same action, less resistance. Newer to the evidence pile is mindfulness-based CBT, but so far it seems promising. MBCT stands for Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy. It's CBT with a mindfulness layer on top. It's shown up well particularly for adults who don't have a bunch of other stuff going on alongside their ADHD. You'd see a psychologist specifically trained in MBCT, since it's a distinct structured program, not just your regular psychologist adds some breathing exercises. Some run it as a group course rather than one-on-one, which also tends to be cheaper. Worth trying, not yet as proven as straight CBT. If someone's trying to sell you a $400 mindfulness course as the answer, that's your cue to walk away. If it's a free app or a low-cost add-on to therapy you're already doing, it's worth a look. On to psychoeducation. This is the unsexy one, and I love it for that reason. Psychoeducation just means understanding how your own brain actually works. Not tips and tricks, just genuinely learning the mechanisms of ADHD. This one's less about a specific practitioner and more about the quality of the source. GPs, psychologists, and psychiatrists all deliver bits of it as part of a diagnosis or treatment conversation. But you can also get real psychoeducation from properly researched podcasts, books by clinicians, and ADHD-specific programs, which is a long way of saying, hi, this counts. Guess what that means? You listening to this podcast right now is technically an evidence-based intervention. You're welcome. Understanding why your brain does what it does is foundational. It's often the first step before anything else sticks. Next up is ADHD coaching. Coaching is everywhere right now and it can genuinely feel helpful. People love their coaches, but I have to be straight with you. There isn't solid trial evidence yet that coaching as its own category reliably works the way CBT does. As far as who to see, this is the one where you actually need to vet the person because ADHD coach isn't a protected or regulated title in Australia, meaning literally anyone can call themselves one. Look for coaches certified through a recognised body like the ISF or PAAC accreditation, and ideally with specific ADHD training, not just general life coaching with an ADHD label slapped on. That doesn't mean don't do it. It means go in with the right expectations. It's support, accountability, and a person in your corner. It is not currently a proven clinical treatment the way CBT is. Different tool, different job. Finally, a quick one for anyone who, like me, has a drawer of abandoned planners. There's an actual category for this. Organisational skills training, sometimes shortened to OST. The research so far shows it's associated with real improvements in time management, planning, and task follow-through, though it's still building toward the kind of gold standard evidence CBT has. Who you'd see, occupational therapists are the main ones who deliver this formally, and some specialise in ADHD and executive function specifically. Psychologists and ADHD coaches sometimes fold organisational skills work into their sessions too, so it's worth asking directly what's on offer rather than assuming. The bit that actually matters if you're picking a system, look for one that breaks big projects into small steps and helps you prioritise by urgency and importance, not by whatever's shiniest in the moment. And remember what we said earlier, you probably don't need a new strategy. You need one that doesn't require perfect consistency to survive. None of this replaces medication if you need medication. This is additive, not a swap. Think of it as stacking, not choosing. You don't have to pick a team. So that's the sorted pile. CBT and exercise on top, mindfulness and psychoeducation close behind, coaching and organizational training as helpful but still building its evidence. This week's one thing, pick one, not all 5, one. If you've been meaning to move your body before a hard task, try that this week. That's it. That's the whole ask. You don't need the perfect system. You need one thing that's evidence-backed and small enough that your Tuesday afternoon brain will actually do it. Quick reminder, I'm not a doctor and nothing in this episode is medical advice. If you're thinking about starting therapy, coaching, or any treatment approach, have that conversation with a GP or qualified professional who knows your situation. And if you're really struggling right now, Lifeline is there. 131114. Anytime, day or night. Next week, what happens when you stop blaming yourself and start grieving instead? The years you spent thinking you were lazy? Turns out there's a whole stage of processing that comes after, oh, that's what that was. Anyway, I have ADHD, and if you're here, you probably do too. You're not broken, you're just a lot. New episodes every Wednesday. Follow the show so you don't miss one, and if you forget to follow and then forget the show exists entirely, no judgment. That's why I'm also on Instagram and TikTok at NeuroSpice Nation. Come find me, send me a DM, tell me your diagnosis story. I genuinely want to hear it. It's not just something I say. If today's episode helped even a little, a rating or review goes a long way. It's how other spicy brains find the show, and frankly, my ego could use it. See you next week.